What up, gamers? We are back with some more modern action, and we've got Sultai Goyf Food versus Mono Blue Tron. The deck has been on camera a couple times. Well, we've seen Mono Blue Tron a couple times on the channel. Sultai Goyf Food we saw a while ago. It's been a while since we've seen it, so we figured why not bring it back onto the channel to showcase what it can do. I'm, of course, NanMans. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of our modern gameplay stuff that we do here. Of course, we do have uploads every Monday and Thursday. We're trying to keep up with this consistent schedule. We have been basically doing it for the entire year of 2025. So it's been a ton of fun to be able to kind of bring you guys so much content this year. We've been sprinkling in some other content in our Monday uploads of different types of videos, talking about like the modern meta, talking about like attending events, doing some kind of traveling stuff like that. So it's been fun to be able to see. Now we do get to see a little bit of the power of the food here. Underworld Cookbook, Oval Chase Daredevil, followed up with an Asmo. I'm not going to say the entire name. As you can hear, my allergies have kicked in super, or I'm getting sick. One of those two. You know, I've been stretched super thin with real life lately, so I'm hoping it's just allergies. But, you know, we'll see come the upcoming videos how I feel perfectly fine. So I'm going to say allergies, right? Well, you keep yourself in denial about the actual sickness until you're actually knocked down and can't get up again, right? All right, so stock up's coming up here. Love me some stock up. So look at the top 5 cards. You can put 2 of those into your hand and put the rest on the bottom. You know, I think the card's super cool. It sees play, of course, in Mono Blue Tron. I have it in my Lantern Control list that I love, but doesn't really see too much modern play. But it's still a super cool card. You know, get that card advantage, set yourself up. So we're going to be seeing basically how things are working. It is a huge generation of food from our Sultai Goyf player, and it's going to be our Mono Blue Tron's way of just sort of how are they going to deal with the threats until they can land something big enough to try to like end the game. That's kind of the gameplay, even though it is Mono Blue Tron and there is counter spells and reactions, things like that they can do. It is still a Tron list, so it's still like cast big, dumb dude, profit. On the other side of things, we get to see the kind of, again, cookbook generation here. Another little bit of a setup here. So Oval Chase, yeah, they're confirming the ruling with Oval Chase. So Oval Chase, when it goes to the graveyard, it can be able to be returned to your hand if an artifact enters the battlefield. So when it's in your graveyard, it's like a triggered. So you can, like, there is a opportunity to exile it off of the Kozilek's command there, because it's like make a food, trigger goes on the stack. You can respond to the trigger and be able to do that. Now, the more stuff that goes in exile, the more powerful the deck becomes, though, because the Sultai Goyf Food, I can say the full name, right? This is using the CosmoGoyf. It is a Sultai deck utilizing food, utilizing CosmoGoyf to try to end the game. We saw it, maybe a month or 2 ago now at this point. But it's been fun to kind of go back through. Again, we had a nice little bank up of footage. We've got a mix of different games that we've been seeing. Like, we got to see Esper Blink recently. We got to see some Neoform, Amulet Titan, some blue-white control. We've got, of course, Sultai action here. We got to see some Grixis, Murktide. We've got some twin games coming up to showcase. So lots of different games to try to bounce around and try to kind of keep you guys entertained, hopefully, with the variety of the modern meta, because we did a tier list that's coming up on Monday, and we ranked 47 decks, I think, by the end of it. So 47 decks were ranked up there, and it was fun to be able to highlight basically all the decks and kind of talk through and be like, yeah, there's old school decks. Like, if you want to bring spirits, sure, you can play spirits. Is it going to be able to compete against like these S and A tier decks? No, it's not. but it'll be fun to play, and you know, you might have a little nostalgia kick. And if your shop has a lot of decks that are people just playing, like, let's play some janky stuff or some silly stuff or some old school stuff, like, you'll have a much better time. But you know, you'll have to wait for Monday for that full video. Just the answer the Asmo all the time here. That's what we're seeing. In response, let's make a food. Can Asmo shoot itself? Is it? Let's see. You get to sack 2 foods. Target creature deals 6 damage to itself. So yeah, you could. Yeah. Okay. So we will. All right. I mean, I don't know if keeping it out of exile does anything, or I'm wondering, is there a reanimation package in there? I can't remember. Of course, the list is on Moxfield, so let's look, right? Let's do our due diligence here and look at the deck list. You know, we don't always get access to every single deck list, but most of them we kind of piece together, and they're, you know, I would say a solid 94% accurate. All the way up to 97, depending on the deck, depending on, you know, things like that. But I can't help but, like, do my own things of going, oh, this would be cool. Or let's do, like, adjustments to numbers and things like that. But, all right, let's see. Any reanimation stuff? I guess you get access to Agatha's Soul Cauldron in the list. And you get access, the players running Overlord of the Bailmark. So, okay, there is reasons to keep Asmo in the graveyard to be able to return it or utilize its abilities. So, yeah, I think that's fine to let that hit. All right, both players are just sort of like, you know, land go right now. Now, we do get to see much more interactive stuff a little bit later in the video. So if you're not a fan of land go like I am, you can always jump ahead in the video and check out later on. Also, if you're liking the content and liking the stuff that we're producing, want to come back and check out more stuff, I highly recommend you hitting that subscribe button, as we are continuing up with our modern content, Magic the Gathering content, all the good stuff that we're doing over here on the channel for you all to be able to enjoy. We're working on a cube video right now. Slow, because we started to design it by taking apart old commander decks and designing it around basically our bulk and multiplayer and, you know, voting and conspiracy, and basically we're designing a 4 to 8 player cube. We want to be able to show you guys a little bit of gameplay with it once we get it. We were trying to play with it a couple weeks ago, but real life put a stop to that, and we basically only got a couple games of Commander in, and then it was like, okay, after everyone eats, this would be a great time to test out the cube, and then it was like, nope, you may not do that. You've got to go. Speaking of got to go, this Sire of 7 Deaths has got to go. This thing, once it hits, it causes problems. First strike, vigilance, menace. It's got all the things you want. Lifelink, ward is pay 7 life. Ugh. Yeah, there are certain cards that once they hit, it's just like that. This is enough to end the game by itself or swing the game. Like, I need to pick up some Sires because I still haven't, and my, you know, Tron list that I've got is sort of like a weaker version of it, but you know, that's fine. I don't play it very often. I'll play it like every so often, be like, yeah, let's do some old school Tron stuff. But it is in, you know, the second quiver of decks that we like to rotate through. It's also the, like, almost colorless artifacty with, like, Tezzeret and stuff like that. Make all the food. Oh my gosh, look at how much food. Hey, Asmo. Okay, so I forgot about this part here. We do get to go tutor up an underworld cookbook. Now, the silly part of this is going, yep, I've got this. Let's cast this because our hand is full of lots of great, fun, interactive cards that we get to use. So here's this Oval Chase. Trigger comes back. And we're going to start. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to sack 2 foods to this. Ward trigger. It is a trigger. You might get your opponent to miss it. This case, no. Lose 7 life. And gain 6 life because the creature deals 6 damage and the lifelink will kick in. Sacrifice 2 food. But not going to pay the ward for this one. What? Pay the ward. Let's. What? Yeah, look at this. Both players were kind of just like staring at each other. And we talked about it as like that's what Tron does sometimes. Is it just sort of goes, all right, and here's a threat. Can you answer this? Okay, I'll play another threat. But my threats are so big and so scary that it becomes so hard to deal with certain decks, especially these kind of like lower to the ground decks like this Sultai list is trying to be. But what's fun about this list is it's a transformative sideboard. All right, now we're pivoting into the sideboard plan of like, let's get some Tamios out there, let's get some shardless agents in here, and we basically turn into like a shardless bug list and just sort of have fun. Let's see how that works though against a Mono Blue Tron list that's already got a tower out. Any maps or anything? No maps. All right, Urza Saga giving us access to some tools like Cookbook, Shadow Spear, Haywire Mites, like a lot of the really cool and powerful like 1-drop stuff that you expect to see if you're running certain colors. Like I always talk about, if you are on Urza Saga and you're running green, you should have at least 1 Haywire Mite in your list. Malevolent Rumble. Yeah, it's like Tamio making clues over there. What do we got? Okay. Oh, all right. Do you need a land or do you want a planeswalker? Because that's your options. Looks like, yeah, we're going for the polluted here. Not a bad start to things for turn 2. We've got a clue. We've got a spawn, so we're ramping. Oh, tower in mine. Hoping for the natural Tron, maybe. Fetch. Are we shocking? Okay, going 14. Yeah, when you're in like a 3-color list and you're basically know that you're about to lose your Urza Saga, you might want to try to make sure you're getting access to all of your colors. So we see the Overgrown come out. Tamping for 3. We're making a construct. Oh, how about a Shardless Agent? Triggers. Into a Thoughtseize. Not bad. Oh, hey. Look at all these scary things. Alright, so we do have our Sire 7 Deaths or 7 Sins or whatever this guy's called. And yeah, what is that? The Bahamut? Yeah, Sire 7 Deaths and Summon Bahamut were those. So I like the idea. It's like 9 mana. We could probably wait a little bit on that, where the Sire can drop down and cause problems. All right. Not going to make a construct. Float in a colorless. Let's search for something. No natural Tron discovered for our Tron player, so we'll see what happens. Another Malevolent Rumble. Okay, pretty good. Let's get some more cards in the yard. Another Shardless Agent. 2 Abrupt Decays. Don't really need those. Yeah, just let's keep up the Shardless Agent adventure, shall we? It's like, can't cast him yet, though. Pretty solid. We'll start bringing the beats. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, did I miss something? I was like, our Sultai player's like, I'm at 10. And I was like, wait a minute. Did I miss a life total? And they go, oh, wait, I'm at 12. Okay. So they are at 12. Okay. Ooh, repealing the Haywire Might here. I like that. That gives you the option if you draw into like a talisman or something like that, that you kind of have a little bit more flexibility, or a map or something. Like you can just be like, yep, let's make something happen. No Tron, but we do have our lovely little Moon Mist, or basically makes the next spell you cast uncounterable. Hey, there is the talisman. Okay. Trying to tap lands correctly is like, wait a minute, I'm trying to play this. Haywire Might off the Eldrazi spawn there. Hey, let's gonna help keep our opponent in check a little bit. Repeal. Okay. Of course, gain some life off of that. The repeal is sweet. I love me some repeal. All right, looking for something that costs less. CosmoGoyf. And then it's like, what the heck is this? This was also like right after Edge of Eternities came out. So creature's power is equal to the number of cards in exile. It's like, this is, what the heck? Well, sorry. Cards in exile +1. And it's cards you own, not your opponent's. So there is that little nuance to it. Okay, let's see. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. No Tron. Do we imprint? Yeah. So 2, 3. Okay. Looking for the missing Tron piece. So we could, if that's in there, we grab that. Okay, Portent of Calamity is all that we know of for sure. This says, wait, you played a land already. Just kidding, cheating step. It's like, played that so you got the stock up. You'll have to wait. Okay, Potent next turn though? No. Okay. I guess it was just like doing the math. How big could you make Goyf? That's the other thing. The CosmoGoyf wasn't that big yet, but if like the Psychic Frog gets dropped down, then it goes, oh, I just die automatically. Which we saw last time this deck was on camera. It was CosmoGoyf plus Psychic Frog was just like, oh, this is gross. You just exile all these cards you've been filling up your graveyard with to give Frog flying, and now just kill someone with CosmoGoyf. Okay, imprint. Nothing to follow it up, though. Fetch Shock. Oh, one of my favorites. Ancestral Visions. It suspends for 4. Going to be gone for a long time sitting over there. But hey, with the way that game 1 went of just sort of land go from them, that might actually be relevant here. So let's see. A stock up turn 2? Dang. Okay. Get those extra resources immediately. Shape that hand to kind of help deal with the potential influx of cards that's going to be coming in 4 turns. So could also be finding a couple of Tron pieces if we needed it. A couple more Urza lands, or maybe another blue source, depending on what we're looking for, what our hand is shaping up to be. Another fetch, but this time a swamp. Ooh. Oh, he's like, I missed my suspend trigger, and it's like, we got you. You know what? That happens. Sometimes you'll miss your suspends, and if you're playing with decks like this, we talk about it all the time. It's like the surveil stuff. It just is like another way to just get better at the game is to start like placing a dice or something on your deck to help you kind of track things and remember. And hey, CosmoGoyf, currently a 1/2 because of Ancestrals is in exile right now. Yeah, right. Doesn't suspend. Exile it with time counters. Yeah, so it's in exile. Gonna use that Tarma die that's been so long. Ooh. Target player puts top 4 cards in the library in the graveyard, then exile each opponent's graveyard. Oh, it doesn't exile ours. But it stops our opponent from searching, so if they had like a map, they can't use it. All right, target player puts... he goes, wait, this doesn't work the way I want it to. It doesn't exile my stuff. Darn. All right, so mill 4. Ooh, okay. Emrakul trigger.
This is resolved first, so that gets put on the stack, but you mill and exile as part of the same block, so it will exile your graveyard, and then you have to shuffle your deck.
Okay, alright. I didn't know if this one went on top of it. I guess that's got to finish.
All right, so yeah, this is what we're seeing is we get to shuffle basically nothing because the way it works is Ashiok is resolving his, put this in there. Then exile each opponent's graveyard, right? It's all a part of the same ability, so that finishes resolving, and then Emrakul's shuffle trigger goes on the stack. I am not a judge, nor do I play with either of those cards to be able to argue otherwise, but if somebody else thinks that doesn't work the way that is listed, let me know. If you think that this works the way that they're explaining it, also let me know. Be like, yeah, they're right. That is exactly how that works. All right, Hugin's going to come and just like say, nope, we're done with all this. Hugin's just so good. Every time it hits, you're just like, this card is a problem. Getting rid of all these colored permanents. But that's also why I wanted to play like the stars and spheres again, is like just have Ugin and just sort of like, okay, let me cast these low to the ground stuff and just sort of get rid of the battlefield. Are you okay with that? Oh, no, you're not? Well, too bad, you can't deal with it. All right, another Rumble. Anything worthwhile? We've got 2 lands. One's at least an Urza Saga and a Yawgmoth. Yes, we'll go with the Saga. I like that. Sets us up a little bit more for the follow-up. We can make constructs that cannot be exiled off of Ugin. So that kind of like gives us the kind of ways to work around the Ugin. Problem is, Ugin's basically like 2 turns until he ults if he starts doing some uptaking. But oh no, we're going to actually 0 make 3 mana. What are we doing? Oh, right. Important. So, let's reveal these cards. And, yep. Okay, so reveal this for each card. Exile a card, yada, yada, yada. You may cast spells from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost if you exiled 4 or more cards. So, let's see. Enchantment, creature, kindred, instant, land, sorcery. Ugh, we get these 5 cards added to our hand. But before then, one of those gets to be cast for the price of for free.
I guess one of them and the rest of them.
He said, cast the island. No, I think we're going to cast this one with the multiverse, which is basically like omnipotence. You get to cast a spell from the top of your library, or you may cast a spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. So he's like, do I got Emrakul? No. So basically, by playing this, you get to cast 2 spells for the price of for free. So he says, yeah, let's cast this and play the Sire. Trigger. Ugin doesn't do anything, but if there was, we could have exiled something we cared about. But it's only about our opponent's stuff.
Target myself.
Man, I was
All right, Ancestral Vision's going off. Hey, we survived 4 turns. Does it matter? I don't think it. I think we've lost the thread here. All right, I think we've lost the thread with the Ugin out. Okay, Grist. We still have a spawn. We're losing 7 life. Sack a creature. Get rid of Ugin. We don't want to lose the 7 life. We know Grist is going to die here, but this gives us the opportunity to follow up. And, like, if Ugin ultimates, the game's automatically over. So dealing with the Ugin is pretty good. I like that. Just let me draw a card. Now I'm going to peek. Do cheeky peek. What was that again? Play a land or cast spells is crazy. Let me imprint an Ugin. I don't even need it. I don't even need that one. Let me look again. Make sure. Here's my one spell. The other Ugin. Combat. Here's 7. Badoop. Big hits. Big hits. Add 3 mana. Oh my gosh, are we doing the potent again? Okay, 10. We're going to do X is 10. We're looking for an Emrakul. There it is. All right, GG. Flip over all of the rest of it.
That's my pet card. I love that guy.
I like that battleship. Big fan of it. Big fan. All right, we'll have to update the Mono Blue Tron list to reflect this, because the last time we had it was about 2 months ago and it was looking a little bit different. But I love this sort of like all in on this sort of like, yep, I'm going to kill you. We're going to flip an Emrakul. That's our plan. Hope you can deal with this. And if you can't, I guess we just win. Yeah, it's just like, yep, that'll do it. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know. I like Mono Blue Tron better than the other versions of Tron right now, but we've talked, we'll see how Tron ranks on the tier list there, but like I don't know, if your opponent's trying to kill you on turn 2 with Amulet Titan, you don't have time to assemble Tron. So I don't know.
This is a perfect curve. These ones are like $4 because of the stamp promos, but usually like $1.
So we get to see a little bit of what people are bringing in there. But hope you guys enjoyed that one. Again, we are going to be having more gameplay for you guys every Monday and Thursday with the sprinkling of other content like our tier list coming out this coming Monday. But that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone. And I'll see you all next game.